Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching this one. This is my Formula 1 Canadian Form 3 review. Obviously, from the Canadian Form 3 that took place this past weekend. And yeah, it's very unpredictable, wasn't it? It was very unpredictable due to the weather. The weather couldn't make its mind up whether it was raining or sunny, or the complete yo-yo in terms of the weather. At the famous Canadian Grand Prix, obviously by the world champions as well, where we saw Max Verstappen get back to winning ways, and resume normal service at the top of the Drivers' Championship. But Red Bull did not have it their own way once again this weekend, and it just shows that the cards might be falling at Red Bull, that they're not been winning as convincingly like they did last season. Because Max Verstappen did not lead the whole race. The lead did change a lot between Lando Norris and George Russell. Because George Russell, who started on pole position with the identical same lap time as Max Verstappen. And but you see the full classification there on your screen. We did have 5 DNFs: Carlos Sainz, Alex Albon, Sergio Perez, Charles Leclerc, and Jordan Sargent. It was a 3-2 vedette for Ferrari after becoming the heroes of Monaco, especially Charles Leclerc when the Monaco 3, and then he went to 0. Then he went to 0 in terms of Canada. And both Ferraris obviously knocked out. Both Ferraris obviously got knocked out in qualifying 2 as well. In qualifying, I know the car did not suit the Canada track anyways, but to not get into qualifying 3 is quite shocking. It's quite shocking for a team like Ferrari, in my opinion. If they would have got into qualifying 3, even if they would have qualified 9th and 10th, then you would say, you know what, fair enough, because the car doesn't suit the track. But they didn't get into qualifying 3. And the strategy for qualifying 2 was quite shocking from Ferrari, that they only had 1 lap. While the others had 2 or more laps to post their lap times in qualifying. So once again, the strategists at Ferrari are letting them down once again. And obviously Carlos Sainz suffered a DNF due to Alex Albon. Charles Leclerc, he just had problems with his car straight away. Carlos Sainz, he obviously touched the curb and spun, and it took Alex Albon out. While Alex Albon was trying to get past him after Carlos Sainz was spinning, then he took Albon out as well. So again, you can only blame Carlos Sainz for that, for touching the curb. Bit of an error, schoolboy error, to be honest with you. And but that was it in terms of the DNS. Jordan Sargent, he was the one that did point out. I did point out the safety car quite early. I think it was early in the race, wasn't it? Where, to be fair to Jordan Sargent, though, Jordan Sargent already went off track once, and it was like the second time we brought out the safety car. So, and then chaos happened. Chaos happened in terms of safety car. Lando Norris decided to stay out and take the lead, while Max Verstappen and George Russell were the others that came in. that came into the pits. Obviously, we had the yo-yo of the weather in terms of the race, where, as you can see on your pit stops, a few drivers had 3 pit stops, a few drivers had 2, and they just couldn't predict the weather. In the end, towards the end of the race, it was all dry, wasn't it? All pure sky. Was probably suited Max Verstappen, to be honest with you, to go on to win the Grand Prix. But I tell you what, though, it changed a lot. Lando Norris did overtake Verstappen as well. Did overtake Verstappen during the race. So this shows they're not having it their own way, Red Bull. And I was proven wrong that. I thought Max Verstappen with the DRS. That's what was so lucky for George Russell, that it started off raining, didn't it? Which means you can't have the DRS and wet weather. Because if it would have been dry, I still think Max Verstappen would have got George Russell before the end of the first lap, in my opinion. And but fair play to Max Verstappen. Lando Norris and George Russell, for me, made mistakes for Max Verstappen to win. Not taking anything away from Max Verstappen, but I just think Lando Norris and George Russell, they did make mistakes, didn't they, during the race? And I just thought they let Max Verstappen in, didn't they? And Max Verstappen probably, Max Verstappen went on to win the Grand Prix comfortably in the end. But I will say, in the end, he did. And but at least he was challenged. At least Max Verstappen was challenged to win that Grand Prix. And let's be real, Max Verstappen, he was having problems this weekend as well, wasn't he? He was having problems this weekend. He wasn't happy with the car, but he still went on to win. Just shows that winning mentality. For you. And that's what. It's just a shame for Matt about his teammate Sergio Perez. Sergio Perez, who's obviously signed a new contract. Sergio Perez, who signed a new 2-year contract at Red Bull. I think that's a bad move for Red Bull. I honestly do think that's a bad move for Red Bull. But then people come at me saying, well, who do they get as a replacement? Carlos Sainz, for me. I think Carlos Sainz is the only identical better replacement. But the Sainz to Red Bull was never going to happen because of Max Verstappen's dad and Carlos Sainz's dad. They don't really like each other. And don't get on each other at all. So, and from the rumours that a lot of noise is going around that Carlos Sainz is set to sign for Williams in 2025 and be teammates at Alex Albon, which is a bit ironic, isn't it? After what happened in the race, Carlos Sainz taking Alex Albon out and they don't be through to teammates at Williams. And my thoughts on that, Carlos Sainz to Williams, surprising, I will say that. It is surprising because I thought it would have been nailed on Red Bull as a Perez replacement, just because of the Horner and Sainz bond from the Toro Rosso days. But it just shows that Williams and James Vowles, the job James Vowles doing at Williams as a team principal is quite. He is progressing. He's progressing the team. He's progressing the team as well. It don't matter about the double DNF, but I think Jordan Sargent's had his chance now, hasn't he? He's had his chance. And Carlos Sainz, what replacement for Jordan Sargent? My only worry with Albon and Sainz, both drivers want to be number one driver. And I think that does affect the team, in my opinion, in terms of performance on the track. That, no, I want to be number one. If one of them can accept being a number two, which is what McLaren is starting to do, I think McLaren is starting to say to Piastri, just kind of sit back a bit, Lando, because Lando Norris is probably the asset at McLaren, and it's definitely the number one. And Piastri, they're just telling Piastri to try and just slightly sit back. Don't fight with your teammate. Don't fight with your teammate. So I think that's what Williams are trying to do. I just don't know. I reckon Carlos Sainz will want to be number one driver at Williams. And I don't think Alex Albon will be happy with that after Alex Albon has been obviously number one driver at Williams for these past couple of years. And I think it suited Alex Albon, didn't it, being the main driver as well. Yes, see how it works out at Williams. But if you can get both of them on the same track, if you can get both of them on the same track and both are second, then what a lineup. What a lineup for Williams. And just something there, Williams had Bottas and Felipe Massa all them years ago, didn't they? So, and there were a chance for podiums in the Williams car. So, I'm not saying Williams don't be like that, but I don't see why not. I don't see why not, because I do genuinely think Williams, along with McLaren, are probably done the Subaru radiations, in my opinion. Probably done with the best teams prepared for the radiations. Now, I'm not saying to chance at the top, but I think they'll find joy out of the radiations in 2026. Obviously, I've given my opinions on the radiations. Obviously, I've put it on the community post for you guys to have a look at. And I think the radiations, for me, are not going to suit Red Bull at all. I don't think Red Bull will like the radiations. I think 2026, I genuinely believe we will see the end of Red Bull. Now, I wouldn't, not like the end of the team completely. I still think Red Bull will probably be around third or fourth best team on the grid, or even second best team on the grid. I just don't think they'll be the best prepared team. I just don't think they'll suit the radiations, despite Max Verstappen would have obviously done similar as a thought. But again, the radiations still a long way to go. Let's see what happens. My opinion could change. But in terms of the full classification, then Max Verstappen went on to win the Grand Prix. Lando Norris went on to finish second. A very good weekend for Mercedes for once. A very good weekend for Mercedes. I know George Russell was on pole. But I always thought that was a bit of an overachievement from George Russell and an amazing qualifying session from him. But still a great weekend for Mercedes, still finishing on the podium. It looks like they're finally getting the best out of that car. Lewis Hamilton finishing fourth, despite Lewis Hamilton saying that was one of his worst drives. I don't think so. I don't think it was. I still think that's a good race result for Lewis Hamilton. Piastri ended up finishing fifth. A good weekend for Aston Martin. Who have been outside the top 10 the last couple of races. Both drivers back in the top 10. Lance Stroll stolen points in his home Grand Prix as well. So Alonso 6th, Lance Stroll 7th. Good weekend for Daniel Ricciardo getting the points in the face of RB after criticism from Jack Villeneuve, who was on the F1 punditry. And Daniel Ricciardo obviously made Villeneuve eat his words, of course, by finishing the points and finishing 8th. Again, Alpine continue their improvements after they were completely car crash start of the season, weren't they, Alpine? And they were at the back of the grid, and now the battle where they were, the battle to where they should be, was a storm points, consistent points for Alpine. Gasly 9th, Ocon 10th, Esteban Ocon, who is even Alpine at the end of the season, and everything is saying Esteban Ocon will be joining Haas to replace Nico Hülkenberg. Of course. and it's interesting with Haas as well. It's interesting with going on to Haas. Esteban Ocon looking to be the number one driver at Haas. I think he will be the number one driver. Hülkenberg already has already joined Audi Sauber. They'll be told Audi next season, which means what does the future hold for Kevin Magnussen at Haas? Yes, talk about Haas's race to start off with. Both Haas drivers stand on the wet tyres, while everyone else sat on the intermediate tyres, and the Haas cars were flying on the wet tyres. Kevin Magnussen was up to fourth at one point, but then the happy hour for Haas did end in a couple of laps after that. And it suited the intermediate tyres, and they had to come in and change tyres. So started off flying Haas, but in the end, it's still not been a bad weekend for them. It's where you expect Haas to be, around the top 10, around battling for the top 10, battling for the points. So 11, 12 for the two Haas drivers. But as I said, Ocon to Haas, I did see Esteban Ocon as a Mercedes driver. I did. I thought Esteban Ocon would have been like a Valtteri Bottas type, being like a number 2 to George Russell. But we've already seen Esteban Ocon already on the F1 track. He doesn't sit back, does he? He doesn't hold back at all. He does fight with his teammates. So I think it would have been a good idea for Mercedes to actually move away from Esteban Ocon. Same with Williams as well, another team he was in with. And Alpine, Esteban Ocon's been at Alpine for years, hasn't he? And it's all about giving Perdazzi now that number 1 driver spot. And the main priority at Alpine, which I think will suit Perdazzi, as we saw at AlphaTauri in 2021 season. He did like being number 1 driver, didn't he? So I think they will give Perdazzi the number 1, the main priority at Alpine for next season. Be interesting to see who will replace Ocon at Alpine. I think Zhou Guanyu quite an outside shout because he is part of the Alpine Academy. Alpine Academy. Mick Schumacher is done being for that seat after a couple of years out of F1. Alpine could have looked into their academy drivers. They have Victor Martins, for example, Chad Doohan. There's also Theo Porcher, who is obviously part of the who is French as well. So it'll be interesting to see who does go to Alpine to replace Esteban Ocon. I think they'll go for a number 2 driver, Warner. I think it is going to be one of them options of Mick Schumacher. I probably have missed someone out other than that. Mick Schumacher, Jack Doohan, Zhou Guanyu, Victor Martins. I think it's going to be one of them, in my opinion. Or even Jim Lawson. An outside shout for Jim Lawson if these Tata RB decide to keep Daniel Ricciardo alongside Yuki Tsunoda, who had signed obviously a new contract and faced Tata RB. So yeah, I do like the Jim Lawson shout actually. I do like the Jim Lawson shout as a teammate per Perdazzi. That's someone who I would go for if I was Alpine. I would go for Jim Lawson or Mick Schumacher, in my opinion. Go for one of them two. I think that would be a solid lineup for Alpine. In my opinion. So, in terms of who could replace Kevin Magnussen at Haas if Kevin Magnussen is to leave? I think there's still talks. From what I've seen, there's still talks going on. But everything is pointing towards Ollie Berman, who came in for Carlos Sainz on a temporary for the Saudi Arabia Grand Prix. Everything is pointing towards an Esteban Ocon and Ollie Berman partnership in the Haas car for next season. And I do like that because I think Kevin Magnussen he's had his time now, hasn't he? He's had his time at Haas. Nico Hulkenberg's key tempted by the Audi Sauber project as well, by the Audi project. So I think Haas are done be the team with a new fresh sign-off for next season of Esteban Ocon and Oi Berman. From what I've heard, from what I've seen, contracts have already been signed for Oi Berman to join Haas. It's just awaiting an official announcement now. Just awaiting an official announcement. On to Sauber then. Bottas first team, Chopan new 15th. Another team who probably will be having a look at new lineup. On yesterday, decided to keep Bottas alongside Hulkenberg. I think that's a good partnership as well to have at Audi Sauber, as they will be known next season. Valtteri Bottas has been in for the Williams seat, but James Vowles is looking to get Carlos Sainz. He's pushing hard to sign Carlos Sainz. And that leaves Bottas with limited options for next season. The only options I can see for Valtteri Bottas is Aston Martin or Alpine. If Lance Stroll starts still in charge of Aston Martin, then we all know what's going to happen to that seat. Lance Stroll is safer then in that seat. Alpine is quite a tempting move for Alpine. I think that'll be a good move for Alpine to get Bottas in. In my opinion. But he has been strong against Williams. He has struggled with Williams in the past. But yeah, it's Carlos Sainz, isn't it? It's an interesting one, Carlos Sainz. Because this driver market is crazy at the moment. Mercedes are really pushing hard for Kimi Antonelli to be the replacement. They only want Kimi Antonelli to be the replacement to Lewis Hamilton. That's the only replacement they want for Lewis Hamilton. They see Kimi Antonelli as the future. But then Kimi Antonelli could be another one where he could be in for the Williams seat as well. James Vowles and Toto Wolff obviously have that Mercedes bond, of course. I would actually want to see Kimi Antonelli at Williams alongside Alex Albon, in my opinion. That's what I would look to see alongside each other. I would actually have Albon and Antonelli at Williams because I think it's very risky to put Antonelli straight away in a Mercedes, in my opinion. I would probably do that. I would probably sign Carlos Sainz on a 1-year deal at Mercedes alongside Russell. See what Antonelli does in F1. Then maybe do a swap deal, Sainz to Williams and Antonelli to Mercedes. That's what I would probably do, in my opinion. So, but yeah, Bottas to Alpine. Not a bad shout, in my opinion. Not a bad shout. It's certainly someone I would go for. Definitely. If I was having a look at all the options to replace Ocon, Bottas and Dadsy. Bottas is a good teammate as well, isn't he? He is a good teammate, Valtteri Bottas. I would actually go for Dadsy and Bottas as a team, as teammates at Alpine. Will it happen? I think Bottas may retire. Well, not retire, but I think he'll leave F1 at the end of the season, Bottas. Because I think 2026 is done before the likes of Oi Berman, isn't it? For the likes of Oi Berman, Kimi Antonelli, the likes of them drivers. I think they're going to be part of the 2026 project of the new regulations, in my opinion. And Liam Lawson as well. So I think Liam Lawson will get the seat at Alpine. Or even Chopan Yu as an outside shout. But I would actually go for Bottas, personally. I would actually go for Bottas either at Williams or at Alpine. I would actually put Bottas in the Alpine car. I would. And I would actually put Antonelli alongside Albon at Williams. And if I was Mercedes, I would sign Carlos Sainz on a 1-year deal for the 1 year to replace Hamilton. Then at least it will keep Mercedes up there, won't it? In my opinion. So yeah, and that is the forecast for Tyson. Tsunoda ended up finishing 14th. He was in the points of Tsunoda, but in the end he spun, didn't he? He spun and it cost him his way. In the end, he went off the track, tossing his weight, which means that F1 race then losses. Esteban Ocon, what a try from Esteban Ocon. Then 8 places, Per Gasly then 6 places. For me, they're the team of the weekend for me. I've been there the team of the weekend, Alpine, after struggling in qualifying. I've not having a great qualifying at Alpine. To then never amount of places and then the points. Bravo to Alpine. And for me, they did my team of the weekend, and Esteban Ocon, that's my driver of the day. Well, driver of the race, Esteban Ocon, for the amount of places he gained. Which means then, what does it look out for the Drivers' Championship? Max Verstappen strengthens the lead over Charles Leclerc, who obviously had a DNF. Lando Norris closes the gap on Charles Leclerc. Carlos Sainz is in 4th. A battle for 4th between Sainz and Perez. Oscar Piastri is closing that gap on both Sainz and Perez. George Russell, only the 12 points behind Oscar Piastri. Lewis Hamilton, he could see the two Mercedes join that battle in the race of 4th. Alonso in 9th, Tsunoda in 10th, Lance Stroll in 11th, more points for Lance Stroll. Daniel Ricciardo in 12th, Oyburn 13th, Hulkenberg 14th, Gasly 15th, even more points for Gasly, Albon 16th, Ocon in 17th, Madsen in 18th, Joe Guan Yu, Valtteri Bottas, and Jordan Sargent are still the only drivers yet to score points this season. In terms of constructors then, Red Bull strengthened their lead in the Constructors' Championship. McLaren do close the gap on Ferrari to 40 points. It's probably going to be a battle for second between Ferrari and McLaren, even though despite the recent races of Red Bull struggles in recent races, I did still say Red Bull will still probably win the Constructors and Max will still win the Drivers. But battle for second between Ferrari and McLaren. Mercedes in 4th, but Mercedes did strengthen their gap over Aston Martin. Aston Martin 5th, Haas being 6th, Haas 7th, Alpine in 8th. So Alpine closing the gap on Haas in 7th, continuing their improvements. Williams in 9th, and Sauber still the only team yet to score points this season. So that is my Formula 1 Canadian Grand Prix review, as Max Verstappen gets back to winning ways and resumes a normal service. Feel free to leave your thoughts down below in comments, as Max Verstappen had to work hard for that Canadian Grand Prix win, which is a positive sign in my opinion that he had to work hard for it. Feel free to leave your thoughts down below, and I'll see you all for the Formula 1 Spanish Grand Prix preview, as Max Verstappen gets back to winning ways and normal service gets resumed.